Welcome to HR Voices, real talk with people leaders who are in it every day. We get into the messy stuff, the challenges that keep them up at night, and how they're actually fixing them. No corporate fluff, just smart conversations for people who care about people. HR Voices is brought to you by All Voices, the platform that cuts hours of manual HR work with step-by-step workflows and AI to assist with investigations, performance improvement, accommodations, leave requests, and more, so you can get back to the human side of HR. Welcome to HR Voices. Today we're talking to Dr. Patrick Fagan, the Chief Talent and HR Officer for New York City Public Schools. Welcome, Dr. Fagan.
Thank you, Emily. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, we're so glad you're here. You're our very first guest on HR Voices, and I don't think we could have gotten a better one. So thank you.
I hope I don't let you down and your audience.
You lead HR at the largest school district in the United States, and most people can't imagine the scale of your work. So I'm curious if you could tell us a little bit about what it's like to lead the people function at such a massive organization.
Well, it's interesting. It's scary, but it's very exciting. I often tell people I'm probably one of the luckiest individuals or people leaders around because I actually have my dream job. So it's actually an awesome experience. I've always looked for work that is complex and challenges you, but at the same time allows me to integrate my experience, my academic background, and actually some innovative thinking. So actually, I have my dream job. So it's actually an awesome job.
How did you land this dream job?
You know what? So I'm a career because I'm a government employee. What do I mean by that? I am into service, public service. I am a true public servant. To be quick, I ended up in this role because it was a marriage of when I was the deputy, my predecessor, I was the deputy CHRO officer, and I was currently going for my doctorate in IO psychology. And so I was always one that blended, research-backed evidence, solutions to the work and the issues. And when this position became vacant, my public service background of over almost 3 decades commingled with my functional background in so many different areas and aligned with my academia made me say, hey, let's throw my hat in the ring. And so that's how I actually ended up in this job, this
Yes.
functional role. Yes.
And I saw your LinkedIn post from about a week ago. So congratulations on your PhD. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, it was hard. And I was saying, thank goodness I did that prior to getting into this role. Because I just can't imagine the coursework piece. When I actually received this role, I was in my dissertation phase. So I was actually on the tail end. So that made it a lot easier transition for me. But if I had to do that now, I just don't see how possible. I'm sure it is, but the challenge, I would not pick up that challenge or embark upon that challenge.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good segue to the first question I wanted to ask you, which is what is the biggest challenge facing people teams and leadership teams in this moment?
Right now, of course, it's always the limited being in government. It's the limited resources that we have coupled with scalability. So we're constantly, and especially in a system this large, it's always figuring out a way to scale what works. And so we're constantly innovating, piloting new things, but then there's always, unfortunately, a cost associated with it. So one of the biggest challenges that we are facing in our line of work is it's just scalability. And with the resources, I would say that. On a general sense, coming back post pandemic, where employees want more transparency, and then you come back, you have this transparency issue where they want to know more, and then this super thing called AI is upon us. It's scaring everyone, talking about oh my gosh, this is going to replace me. Let's try this. And it's finding that sweet spot because I am of the firm believer that AI is great, but we must not lose because of our human-centric focus on the people, the ones that actually do the work and have been doing the work.
Let's tackle them one at a time. When it comes to limited resources and scalability, what advice do you have? I hear that quite a bit from HR leaders, not just within the government, public sector,
Okay.
but private sector too. Do you have any advice of how to navigate the reality of limited resources and trying to scale what works?
My advice, because it's usually, and it goes back to storytelling and being, because you're always competing for your area. And in a system this large, there's always competing interests, or what we would have to say trade-offs. So senior leadership, the chancellor, or even, City Hall, have to make hard decisions. So it's incumbent upon me as a people leader to always tell the story so that I'm able to get those resources for the programs that are scalable. So my advice to anyone, public, private, is making sure that whatever it is you want to scale and you want that those limited resources directed to those programs, you have to be able to back it up with not just a good story, but with data, and which is the ROI. Because if you're asking for resources, what's going to be that return? You just can't ask for resources and expect, oh yeah, it's a good idea. What makes it a good idea? And you have
Hmm.
to prove and be willing to actually go down that path to back it up.
Yeah. Do the work to prove it. What about when it comes to the AI challenge? Again, I hear that quite a bit too, industry wide. How have you been navigating that within your role?
Well, we're still in the just try out phase, and which is good. So we're not rushing because we're such an interdependent ecosystem. What does that mean? We're not standalone. We're part of the HR is part of a bigger ecosystem of the New York City Public Schools, and New York City Public Schools is part of a bigger ecosystem called the City of New York. So there's all these various levels. So with AI, it's not just AI for New York City Public Schools. It's AI for New York City Public Schools, but also you have to factor in AI. How does it affect unions? How does it affect other agencies that we feed or work data to receive data from? And a prime example is we don't print our own payroll checks. There's just one city payroll checks. Access to that information that I would require or a program would require, let's say, that sort of, it's not a decision that's made at this level. It's a bigger decision. So how do we navigate it? We try it out here and there, and we try to see how realistic and how far we can go with it. It's right now it's just a little bit of trial error pilot in here, but it's nothing definitive where we're saying we're going AI full steam on this initiative or on this
Hmm.
project or with this program. So it's actually fun. Once again, it's fun because we get to try it out here. Some people are trying it out there. Everyone's trying to figure it out. Where does it sort of sit, or actually how can it be in conjunction? Remember, we're not looking from at least our standpoint to replace our individuals. It's how can we make the work bigger, and it's more for scalability in such a system this large to help us as individuals in our day to day.
Yeah. Are there any experiments or doesn't have to be AI, but when it comes to the programs that you can share, things that you're excited about, programs that have worked that you think could inspire others, is there anything you can share
Yes.
that you're excited about?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that question. It got me perked up. So,
Yeah.
one thing I'm heavily on very much as a IO practitioner, and something that I'm proud that I was able to bring to this department, is called BetterUp, which is a coaching platform. And we're about to pilot. The research has shown that, our new teachers, years 0 to 5, it's hard to retain them. What does it mean? It's like they usually leave the profession after their second or third year. And the research has shown that the reasons are, if you look at a system this large, they feel alone within their school. Although we have supports, and scaffolding supports to help them lesson plan and keep them motivated when they're in that classroom or when they're in that school building, how many miles away from whatever central location. The research has shown that they feel lonely and they just burn out and they have no one to sort of talk to. And this, we're not just talking about pedagogy. It's just like if they had a hard day or, who do they turn to, who they could get advice from. And so we're looking to pilot a program for a couple hundred of our teachers this year, which gives them actually an AI coaching platform accessible via their phone, which is 24/7. And it's interesting because I'm a positive psychologist, and I'm also a big fan of the father of positive psychology, which is Marty Siegelman. And he is the one who developed this. It's based actually on his research with BetterUp, which will help teachers and every day, but particularly for my teachers, with so that they don't feel alone. And it seems interesting, like, well, you know what? How's that gonna work? Coaching from an AI tool, people will talk into like their phone. Well, actually, what the research has also found is that individuals are more honest and more open to talking with their phone by themselves behind closed doors and
Yeah.
as opposed to with someone one-on-one in a didactic relationship. So it's
Hmm.
interesting to sort of be like, oh wow, you would think that no, I want my Freudian style, come in, let me sit down and be coached by them. But no, what they found is actually that individuals don't mind and they're very open and very personal with certain matters that affect them with their own technology.
Yeah. You know, I that surprised me too. The number one use case for Chat GPT is actually like therapy and
Wow,
companionship.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so people are using it for like companionship,
Ah.
conversation, just working through things. And when I think about it, I mean, I use it for that, like to help
Mm,
me prepare for conversations or
mm,
to, tell me how someone might interpret this, to make my
wow.
emails, to make sure the tone is correct. So I think that's wonderful. And, AI won't judge you. You can really share with it something, a question you might be afraid that you're asking a dumb question, or you might be afraid of being like, I should know this by now. The AI is not going to judge you. So
Right.
that actually doesn't surprise me that people are being honest with it. And I think it's wonderful you guys are
Yeah.
piloting something like this.
For our teachers, give them some because, like I
Yes.
said, in a system this large, scalability, we have 80,000 teachers, right? How could we provide coaches to 80,000 teachers? That's impossible. That's just not fiscally feasible. And to your point, you raise up an issue which goes back to one of your original questions. This also provides them with psychological safety. And that's
Yeah.
also a challenge in a workplace that big where individuals feel sorry. This is one of your questions. Like what some of the challenge is actually providing that psychological safety for our workers, for everyone to actually grow. And so that I just wanted to just denote that.
Yeah. No, I think it's wonderful you guys are piloting things with AI to support teachers because to your point, you can't provide that, one-on-one coaches. How many teachers are in, did you say? 80,000?
Approximately, I'm giving you an average, a little under 80,000, but
Wow.
yeah, we have a large workforce of teachers.
Wonderful. Well, we're trying to keep this program to about
Hmm.
15 minutes and we're at
No
the
problem.
15-minute mark. Uh, do you have a key takeaway? We've talked about some challenges of scale, of resources. We've talked about some exciting pilots that you're working on. Just to help us wrap it up, is there anything for our audience of folks in HR listening, a key takeaway or a piece of encouragement or advice you want to leave them with?
Just once again, like with during a time where buzzwords are at a high and everyone's just always looking for that new piece of technology or that AI to be the cutting edge, don't forget the people. I'm also very big on strength-based leadership, and one of my top strengths is empathy. And we have to, as people leaders, be empathetic and we have to remember the individual. And that's something that I would like to leave with those who sit in this seat as a privilege and an honor to be a chief human resources officer, so a people leader, is do not forget the people.
I love that. Well, thanks again for being here. It's been a great conversation.
Yeah.
And thank you, Dr. Fagan.
Thank you, Emily, for having me. Bye bye.